approximately 15% of the United States and Canada's oil production that they need every single day is offline right now. And how could this be the same exact pipeline that was just offline last month? Do you remember that giant oil spill in Kansas that happened, and they just got it all cleared up and back online? Now the same exact pipeline is offline again. All right, so what's going on? And also 4 other pipelines, so 5 pipelines total. I will tell you all, and I will break down their barrels per oil every single day, because this is massive. This is over 1.7 million barrels per day that is offline right now. This is huge.
All praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai B'Shem HaRakah Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders which rule great millstone well. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom wa bababal. Which you see that they're shutting down the resources on the people, all right?
And the United States and Canada combined only use 11.5 million barrels per day. So this is around 15% of the oil capacity is offline. So let's get in these details here. Oil outages in Canada disrupt flows to the U.S. and global markets. This is huge. Why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening? And a lot of these explanations they have are just like, they're just like, oh, it's offline. There's some technical difficulty. They don't even really tell you what's happening when 5 major U.S. North American pipelines and Canada pipelines are offline. All right, so let's get into the biggest ones here first. I will show you the Keystone Pipeline. All right, so this is the one leaking in Kansas and was shut down for a month already, and now it is shut down again. So it says the Keystone Pipeline was hit earlier this week by a power outage due to an ice storm. Severe ice shut down the pipeline. This is in Canada, by the way. How does ice shut down a pipeline in freaking Canada? All right, sorry, but it's one of these things. Shouldn't you be prepared? This is Canada. You're like up there with Alaska, the Arctic region. All right, shout out if you live in Canada, but come on, man. It's way up there.
So, as you heard, the resources are being shut down. That resource being the fuel, the oil. All right, and the other day, actually yesterday, Saturday, what was it, January, today, we're January 22nd, 2023, the year we hope the Lord fulfills all prophecy. And we travel like 2.5 hours each way, so 5 hours total to come to camp on Saturday, January 21st. And every day that we leave, me and the other brother, we stop at this gas station, this Shell's gas station, to get gas. And it's pretty good gas, but it's usually busy, like almost where you have to wait in line. And it was pretty empty yesterday, and I thought it was just because the weather, it's cold, it's snowing. But when we pulled up, all the pumps were, down. You can see they're all covered, and there's even some more that you can't see. But you can see that all the pumps have a yellow covering, pretty much saying that they're out of order. All right, and it's most likely to do with them shutting down these pipelines. All right, which eventually there ain't gonna be no work, there ain't gonna be no stores, there ain't gonna be nothing, because the so-called white man, the Red Devil, all right, he was given the power to take peace from the earth. All right, and he's gonna do that, which it says in Revelation 6. By taking away the resources. Revelation 6 verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red. Red is pertaining to Edom. The horse meaning power. So Edom has power. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And that they should kill one and another. So the so-called white man is the red devil the Bible speaks of. And he takes peace from the earth, all right? And he does that by taking resources away and also causing war. It says, and there was given unto him a great sword, which he was blessed with the sword when Esau, all right? Esau was given the sword, and then he got, the gun, and now he got a nuclear missile, which was given to him from Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai to do his work. It says in Isaiah 54:16, it says, "Behold, I have created the smith," which the original smith, the blacksmith, was the so-called white man, Esau Edom, all right? It says, "that bloweth the coals in the fire," and that was to create that sword, "and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, which is to kill, to take peace from the earth." All right, and that's how he conquered the world, was with that sword. And today they have the gun, now they have the missile. So now instead of being a blacksmith, they're scientists. It says, "and I have created the waster to destroy." So this so-called white man, his eyes are set on destruction. All right? And let me get 2nd Ezra 15, verse 1. "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people," which the Lord's people are the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which been scattered throughout the world in slavery by the so-called white man, the red devil, "the word of prophecy," which we've been prophesying through the word of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, that there's going to be a great famine. Not just of food, the famine of the word. There's going to be famine of everything. Pretty much there ain't going to be nothing. All right? "Which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord," which the Lord calls us to be prophets. You can't choose to be a prophet. All right? So let me get down. It says, to verse 5, "Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world." So the Lord is doing this first, all right? Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, he controls everything, even the red devil, all right? And it says, "Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world." The sword, which he put the so-called white man in power, it says, the sword, famine, which this is a famine of oil, which you're going to have a famine of the word of the Lord. There's going to be a famine of food, all right? It says death and destruction. And that's what's coming. Death and destruction, all right? And that's why you got guys like the Canadian Prepper.
Guys, the world is about to become an incredibly violent place. I repeat, the world is about to become an incredibly violent place. There are some unprecedented economic indicators that are pointing towards the collapse of the Western financial system, and it's going to be bloody. It's going to be bloody because there is no peacetime dividend. If you don't know what the peacetime dividend is, it's this idea that when there's no war going on, even if economic times are bad, the peace, the relative peace and civility that exists between nations can create a foundation for commerce to flourish. Do we have that right now while 3 superpowers are on the brink of nuclear war? Absolutely not.
Which shows that the devil, the red man, the so-called white man, Esau Edom, is in power, because the scripture said that when the Israelites are in power, there will be no more war. On the Revelation 21, it says in verse 1, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea." So the earth is going to come under new management. Right now it's under the so-called white man, the red devil, the Bible speaks of, Esau Edom. But when the Israelites are established as the ruling class of this world, there will be peace on earth. Remember, the red man, the devil, the so-called white man, Esau Edom, his job is to take peace from the earth. But we're going to establish peace, all right? Because you're not going to have all this wickedness going on. There's going to be judgment that goes forth, All right, right now, no judgment goes forth because of the devil ruling. Habakkuk, I believe it's 2. Let's see. Yeah, let's start right here. It says in verse 3, it says, for the vision is Habakkuk 2 verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. All right? And it's not going to tarry because the Lord wants it to happen. All right? Verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he teaches false doctrines, the so-called white man. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. He's in everybody's business and everybody's land, conquering. Who enlargeth his desire as hell, which he kills. That's what he uses the sword for. He slaughters people to take their resources. And is as death. The so-called white man is the harbinger of death. But Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai created him to do this, all right? And then he's going to destroy the so-called white man. Because how are we going to have peace with this devil running around? So for 1,000 years, he's going to be in slavery to pay back what he done to the Israelites. But then he's literally going to be made extinct. That's Isaiah 14:21. Let's go there real quick. Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter for his sons, for this generation. All right. Even though the Edomites, they like to say, well, I didn't do it. It was my forefather. Well, you are your forefather because the Bible tells us of reincarnation. All right. So the Edomites that are born today, those are the Edomites that were slaughtering people in the past. And really, all the Edomites are going to be made extinct because they're all devils. From the males, the females, to the babies. All right. And prepare slaughter is what we're doing by telling them their judgment. They're being prepared to be slaughtered. For his children, for their iniquity, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land nor fill the face of the world with cities. Why? Because look what they've done to the world. And this ain't the first time. All right? The flood came upon the world because of the wickedness. And you got to remember, it started with the envy of the devil in the Garden of Eden when he deceived Eve, which that serpent was the so-called white man today. All right? So this devil got to be put down. He got to be made extinct pretty much, all right? Salam. All right, going back to Habakkuk 2, it says, because, in verse 8, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Woe, meaning destruction, to him that coveteth an evil covetousness, which that's what they're doing in Davos, all right? They're coveting an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high. Obadiah, right? This devil puts his nest on high. They got a space force. That he may be delivered from the power of evil, all right? But he's not going to be able to escape evil because he has actually been ordained to be destroyed by evil. It says in Isaiah 3 that they're going to receive the reward of their hand, which is evil. It says, woe to him, verse 12, that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. See, the cities are in iniquity because of this so-called white man, the red devil. He's the devil and he rules in wickedness. So the whole world is operating on a wicked vibration. And this is why the Lord has to destroy him so that the earth could go back to a peaceful state. All right. So Revelation 21 verse 3, it says, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is with men, and those men are the Israelite men. All right? He will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahweh himself shall be with them and be their power. And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst, and I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. So this is Yahushua. He's going to make all things new by destroying the things that exist. Revelation 19, verse 11, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, which is a so-called UFO, and he that sat upon him, which is Yahushua, was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. It says, verse 13, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahweh, which he's going to fulfill the prophecies. This is Yahushai. All right, the Word speaks of Yahushai, his son. Yahweh is the Father, Yahushai is the Son, and he has given all judgment unto the Son. So Yahushai is coming to judge and make war, and he's going to go to war with the kings of the world and their armies. It says, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, and that's why they have reportings of so-called UFOs, because the armies of heaven are coming to fight the armies of the world, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, which he has a laser that comes out of the so-called UFOs, and they're going to burn these people up with it. That with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. So he's going to punish them. And then he's going to give them to the Israelites, and we're going to have the nations, starting with the so-called white people, the red devil, Esau, Edom, for 1,000 years, and we're going to punish them. And then after that is Isaiah 14:21. They're going to be made extinct so that we could have peace. We can't have peace with the red devil on this earth. It says, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Yahweh, and he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. All right. So the Lord Yahushai is going to be sent from the supreme power Yahweh to go to war with this so-called white man, the red devil. And this is why they have a space force. This is why they try to make, allies out of the world, because when Yahushua returns, he's going to go to war with the so-called white man, the devil, and his angels, which is his military. And he's going to overcome them. It tells you that in Revelation, 17? It says, verse 12, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings. These 10 kings are the European Union kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. And this is why you see NATO generals coming together, because NATO is the teeth of the beast. All right, the beast being European Union. The horns on the 7 heads are the kings of the European Union. All right, and America is the whore that rides the beast. All right, and the teeth of the beast is NATO. It says, and when they get that power, it's going to be when they make that MOTB mandatory for buying and selling. That's why they're cutting the resources, because they're going to try to make you desperate to where you'll accept that device the size of a grain of rice, which they're going to make mandatory for buying and selling worldwide. And if you take that, that is an abomination to the Israelite, and you will be condemned to the death of a heathen, which is death by fire. All right, because America is going to be destroyed by fire, or you're going to be drafted into the armies of the world and go over in the Middle East to die by fire. It says, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Talking about his hopeful elect. And he saith unto me, I'm sorry, let's jump down to 16. Let's just stay with the point. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. So the Lord controls the hearts of men. All right? So he's going to make these allies to America hate America. The whore. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai had put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai shall be fulfilled. So once they make that device mandatory for buying and selling the size of a grain of rice, which they're going to want to implant it inside your body, there's going to be a great judgment that comes after that. Nuclear destruction of America, and finally the burning of the armies of the world. 2 Ezra 13 verse, it says in verse 3, and I beheld, and lo, that man, being Yahushai on the so-called UFO, waxed strong with thousands of heaven. Those are the armies of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. It says in verse 5, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men, which is all these men that are going to be drafted into the war, and they're going to be sent over to the Middle East to die in the Valley of Decision, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh's Mashaphat. It says out of numbers, so there's going to be a lot of people gathered to go to war. It says from the four winds of the heaven, so all over the world they're going to be drafted to subdue the man that came out of the sea coming from heaven. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it, which is chariot, the so-called UFO, is so big, it looks like a mountain, all right? And he's on top of it. But I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. So it's so big you can't see one end from the other. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. So the Lord's going to put it in their hearts and their minds to fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived but only dust and smell of smoke. And it says, when I saw this, I was afraid. All right, so the prophet Ezra, when he saw this vision, he was afraid. And this vision is happening in these last days. That's why you see, the things happening, rumors of wars. All right, they're going to be gathered in that land, the Middle East, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, the Valley of Decision, where Yahweh's judgment is going to be carried out. And if you take that device, whether you're in America or you're drafted to go fight in that war, you're going to die by fire if you take it. All right, and that's why the red devil is taking peace from the earth, so that you'll be desperate and you'll go down to Egypt for help, that you'll beg the government for help, and then they're going to offer you that device the size of a grain of rice that is implantable in your body, and they're going to say you need this to buy and sell. And if you take that, being an Israelite, you're condemned to the lake of fire or being burnt by fire. That's the judgment, all right? And the heathen, we don't really talk about them not taking it because it don't matter, because they're condemned either way. We're dealing with our people, the Israelites, all right? And the Israelites been scattered throughout the world, and they look like all the different nations. But if your bloodline goes back to Israel and you've been ordained to be saved, you're going to be aware of these scriptures. You're going to be aware of what's going on, because the Lord is calling you out of this world so that you could be saved. So if that's happening to you, repent, humble yourself, just as we have, and repent and return unto your rightful lot, whether you be a male of Israel or a female of Israel, because the Lord tells us how we should